Alex Garland's Ex Machina is one of the best sci-fi movies I've ever seen. Frankly, it's one of my favorite movies, period. It is a film that oozes atmosphere and grips me from the first frame. Off the top of my head, I cannot think of a better directorial debut than Ex Machina. And it is my favorite movie of 2014. Of course, when I heard Alex Garland was writing and directing another sci-fi film, I got very excited. So as soon as I could see Alex Garland's newest film, I made sure to get to the theater. So that's why today, I'm talking to you about Annihilation.
Mutations. They're everywhere. I've never really seen anything like it before.
Something here is making giant waves in the gene pool.
There are two theories of what went wrong in the Shimmer. One is they went crazy and they killed each other. Or two, something in here killed them.
Annihilation is written and directed by Alex Garland, and it stars Natalie Portman, Gina Rodriguez, Oscar Isaac, Tessa Thompson, and Jennifer Jason Leigh. And I'm going to start off by saying that I was blown away by Annihilation. This is by no means a perfect film, and I think that Ex Machina is a better film, but let me tell you that Annihilation is truly spellbinding. Most of the performances in this movie are quite excellent. Natalie Portman felt like she wanted to be in this movie, so she put in a wonderful performance. And I liked Oscar Isaac in the movie as well. He was doing something a little interesting for his character, something I don't think I've seen him do previously, so I was very excited to see that. Very different at times than his Ex Machina character. It was pretty exciting stuff. Tessa Thompson plays a more reserved character than I would have originally expected, but I thought she was excellent as well. And Gina Rodriguez brings this sense of gravitas to this role that I wasn't quite expecting. She really is something in this movie, and I was very impressed by Gina Rodriguez. She's a good actress, but this is something different from her, and I loved seeing it. The only issue I might have had with acting was coming from Jennifer Jason Leigh. She plays her character very wooden, and I believe it is on purpose, and I understand why her character is played this way. Just for me, her character didn't always work in every scene, and sometimes her delivery felt really flat, which again, I do think was done on purpose, and maybe upon further viewings I might change my opinion on this, but she did seem very wooden at times. To get to the real joy of Annihilation is to talk about the thematic depth of this film. This movie is a thematic playhouse that takes you on a spellbinding roller coaster. It has quite a bit to say, and honestly, on my two viewings, I don't think I've caught even half of what this film had to say, or the symbolism throughout the film. It is a special movie, and one that demands to be seen on the big screen. I feel really bad for a lot of people overseas that have to watch this movie only on Netflix, because I really feel that this is a film that would be improved upon by checking it out on the big screen. I think that it expands upon the thematic depth, and you could pick up on different symbols throughout the film with it being on a bigger screen. I feel like this movie is such a visual treat that it's especially important to see this on the big screen. Now, I don't want to touch too long or too heavily on the themes explored in this movie. I would love to do some sort of analysis video or a spoiler review for this in the future if there's some sort of demand for that, but I just don't want to spoil it too much, because I really didn't know what to expect going into this movie, and I think it's best if you don't know what to expect as well. I just want to say that this movie is very layered, and it's a rewarding film for those who pay attention and those who wish to put in the commitment to truly understanding the story. Now, don't get me wrong, I think this could be a decent movie for a casual film goer. I think they would enjoy the movie enough, but it is a slow burn, and it is a movie that I think requires a certain level of commitment in order to truly grasp. I know that kind of sounds pretentious, and it kind of sounds like, oh, Is this a too highbrow of a science fiction film? And I disagree. Many people are equating this to Kubrick's 2001, and I would say that that's a fair correlation. I don't know if it will end up being quite as iconic or classic. It is already one of my favorites, but I don't think it's going to end up being quite as iconic, but granted, time will tell. But I do think on a level of ambition, this movie reaches sort of that zenith that 2001 set. It is incredibly ambitious, especially into the third act, which in my opinion is honestly some of the most solid and consistent filmmaking I've seen in quite some time. Now, I did touch upon the visual effects briefly, and I just want to say that Garland is really setting himself up to be quite the visual master. Between Ex Machina and this film, this man can truly showcase some amazing visuals on the screen. Now, the cinematographer for this film is the same cinematographer for Ex Machina, Rob Hardy, and oh my goodness, I hope him and Garland never stop working together. They create beautiful, masterful looking films with gorgeous cinematography. But the VFX in this movie are quite astounding as well. Every single shot inside of the shimmer has some sort of rainbow hue to it, some sort of color hue to it. It's exciting and vibrant, and everything inside the shimmer has this level of energy to it that brings both atmosphere to the film and also just stimulates your senses. This is quite a treat. Quite a treat. And before I get into the few things that bothered me, I would love to talk about the structure of this film. To me, the structure of this film felt a lot like 2017's Florida Project. I thought the movie was less of a plot-driven film and more of an atmospheric journey, and I really respected that and loved it. If I look at all of my favorite films of the past couple of years, I truly do believe that atmosphere plays such an important part in what I love about film. Now quickly, some of the things I didn't like about Annihilation. There was some very clunky dialogue, if you ask me. Some of the scenes felt like humans wouldn't speak that way, and well, I think maybe some of the stuff might have been done on purpose. I think some of those clunky scenes were before anything would have really occurred, making it that way. I also did feel like the film felt its length. I would say about halfway through the film, it starts to drag for me. That only lasted about 10 minutes because, like I said, the third act of this movie is some of the most gripping cinema I've seen. And the beginning of this movie I thought really started off well. It's that second act that I think drags for just a little bit that had me thinking, how long have I been watching this? Now that happened both times I watched the film, so I wouldn't say that it was just a late night the first time I saw it, or that I had to do something afterwards. I do think that in the second act of this movie, it does start to feel its length. I really like the score of this movie. It starts out very differently than how it finishes, and the sound design in this film is spectacular as well, especially in that third act climax. You will know what I mean when you get there. One last issue I had with Annihilation was that while I think some of the horror aspects of the film were very well done, I do think there were two scenes in particular in which the scares felt very telegraphed. I could tell when something was going to happen, and to me, those two scenes, they were ever so brief, felt very generic. I don't want to give away what the scenes were, but I do think when you end up seeing these two scenes, you'll know what I'm talking about. All in all, Annihilation is an incredible sci-fi film that I will watch countless times. And if nothing else, Alex Garland has solidified himself as one of my favorite working directors today. I'm going to give Annihilation an 8.5 out of 10. Again, I just had some slight issues with the movie, but if you get the chance to see Annihilation in theaters, please go see it. Paramount is releasing incredibly risky, exciting movies, and I don't want them to think that there's no room for them at the box office. Please give them your money. Please go and see them. Please support cinema like this because it's something that we dreadfully need. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my review of Annihilation. My name is Zachary Mourar. Follow me on Twitter at IamMourar. Follow Razzle on Twitter at RazzleReview. And make sure to come back here to check out all of our excellent content. And as always, have a great day.